Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a powerful guitar amplifier in a stomp box format? Yes! It's StompMan to the rescue! Hello fellow guitar geeks! This tiny little box is an amplifier. It's called the StompMan and it's from Hughes and Kettner. It's a single channel up to 50 watt pedalboard sized guitar amp with an effects loop, solo boost, lots of twiddly knobs for tone shaping, and it only costs around $200. See the link in the video description for up-to-date pricing, of course. In this video, I'm going to show you what it can do, how it sounds, what its limitations are, and whether or not I think you should buy it. The idea behind the StompMan is to replace the amplifier in your rig setup. So, you turn up to your rehearsal or your gig, you put the pedal board on the floor, you plug your guitar in, you plug the StompMan into a 4 or 8 or 16 ohm cab, and off you go. Here it is up close. We've got 2 rows of knobs and 2 foot switches. The top row of knobs is dedicated to what I would call the amp section, so the amplifier part. And then this section here, the lower set of knobs, is the tone shaping department. Speaking of tone, the tone doesn't work like the tone on a guitar, so that is not darker, that is not brighter. In the middle, it's set fairly neutral. Push it left, you get a more martially British tone. And push it right, you get a more mid-scooped Californian US tone. The resonance knob refers to the resonance of the speaker, so turning it counterclockwise, this way, means it's slightly softer, sweeter, and better for clean tones, apparently. And then turning it right tightens it up and gives us a bit more of a punchy low end that's for more distortion. The presence knob works like any presence knob on any amplifier. The more you turn it up, the more high end you're going to get. So you can shape your tone first and then adjust how much of the high frequencies are going to have. That is a darker sound, that is a much more trebly sound. The gain is the preamp gain, so down here we're going to get a cleaner tone, up here we're going to get a more overdriven tone, possibly distorted, we'll find out in a little bit. Sagging is the sagging of the power amp, which I will go into with some sound samples in a little bit. It's easier to hear it than it is to explain it. Master volume, well, master, that's the master volume of the amp. The solo foot switch engages the solo boost, which you can adjust how much boost with the solo volume just here, and it gives us up to 6 decibels of more loudness. And then bypass effects loop, it's switchable on the back. So I will go into this in just a second. Let's take a look at the back. On the back, we've got the input for the guitar, or this is where you plug your pedals in if you're using pedals before the StompMan. Then we've got the effects return. The effects send can also be used as a line out, as it says there. So you can go to a PA system or to an audio interface to get the sounds of your pedal board into something other than the cab, which is powered out of this section here, which you can see is 4 to 16 ohms. It is important to note that at 4 ohms, you can get 50 watts out of the StompMan. At 8 ohms, which is what I'll be running today, you can get 25 watts. And at 16 ohms, you're getting 12.5 watts. But please remember that 50 watts is not twice as loud as 25 watts, and 25 is not twice as loud as 12.5. Just here is where you adjust the volume of the solo boost, which is the switch on the front. Then we've got bypass or effects loop mode. It's currently set to effects loop, meaning that the switch on the front will switch the effects loop on or off. We've got the power switch there, so you can turn it on or off. And finally, the AES switch, which is an automatic energy saving switch. If you have it set to bypass mode, then that same foot switch on the front will turn the preamp on or off. So if you want to use an external preamp and just use the StompMan as a power amp to power your pedal board, stick it in this mode and you can use whatever preamp you want. If you have the preamp of the StompMan bypassed, then the gain and tone knobs do nothing. You can still use the resonance, the sagging, the presence, and the master volume, of course, and the solo switch. One more thing, on the back of the pedal is a little trim pot just there, and this is for using it in bypass mode. When you've got the preamp of the AmpMan turned off and you're using an external preamp, this trim pot on the back adjusts the level of that pedal coming in, so you can compensate volume for the fact that you haven't got a preamp which is boosting the signal a little bit. So that's very useful. It's on the bottom, which is not ideal, but it is there if you need to use it, so it's more a set and forget. Actually, before we do some tone exploration, I'm going to put this in the effects loop of the StompMan because the StompMan has no built-in reverb, so this is the Boss FRV1. That's really simple to do. We just take a cable from the send, go to the input of the pedal, go from the output of the pedal all the way around there into the return of the StompMan. Return of the StompMan is the sequel. This is my trusty albatross from 𝗏𝗡, my SG PAF humbucker style rock guitar. You're going to be hearing it through the Harley Benton vintage 2x12 cab with a Sennheiser E906 mic'd up. So let's hear just the StompMan with that Boss reverb. Now that's got just enough gain on tap. Right at the maximum gain is pretty much the maximum I'd want it on a crunch setting. A little darker, so let's play with the tone a little bit. So again, that tone doesn't go darker when you put it left, it's just changing that mid frequency. Let's put it back to the middle and we'll play back with the resonance. Resonance. Okay, that could be dangerous. I think if you're going to bring that up there too much, it's going to fatten up and you're going to have trouble hearing yourself through a mix. But just there sounds brilliant. Then we got the presence, so let's make that as dark as it goes. It's a bit too much, it's a bit ear-piercing. So what I would normally consider as tone is actually the presence. These three knobs really do shape that tone wonderfully. So that's the sound that I like. The gain about there, the resonance about there, tone and presence. Sagging we haven't played with. Let's play with the sagging. Turn it all the way down. Okay, so now it's getting a bit noisier and I can hear that compression kicking in. Also, it's getting louder when I go past about there, which is what it should be doing. The sagging is the power amp being overdriven, being compressed. And if you're into Van Halen and stuff like that, then this is where you're going to get some of that Van Halen tone from. I'm not an Eddie Van Halen style player, but I can certainly appreciate it. Let's do something else. Dropping that sagging. When I turn the sagging down, can you hear how it lost its body, its sort of fullness, its balls? It lost a lot of feeling there. Sagging back up. So sagging also can be used as a kind of gain because it's a power amp distortion and overdrive. There's a lot going on with what seemingly is just 3 knobs. And then master, again, I haven't pushed it past 1/4. I'm going to push it past 1/4 to see what it feels like. That is super loud, and that will keep up with a drummer. I'm using vintage V30s, so it depends on what speakers you're using, what cab you're using, of course. That's 8 ohms, so giving me 25 watts. It's super, super loud. There's a little bit of hissing coming in as well. That's to be expected. If I drop the sagging... No, it's still hissing. Okay, gain. Give us some more gain. Now it's really hissing. Will it give me... let's do drop D. I'm going to drop that master back down. I'm not sure if I clipped the mic, but I don't think I did. So that's what it sounds like with humbuckers. Let's try it with a Strat, some single coils. That needs a little bit more volume. Straight away, that sounds good. That sounds good. Let's put it more in the Fender kind of area. And now we know what the resonance and the presence and the sagging does. Let's give it a bit more sagging and let's boost the master volume a little bit. So it's still clean and it's loud as heck. It's dynamic. I was concerned with the Strat, would it stay loud enough and clean enough? So there's a bit of grit there from the gain, if I really dig in. But then if you back off... It's still clean, or rather, I should say, not too clean. And that's on the Marshally kind of setting. It's really, really good so far. I am super impressed. And at this point, if you don't watch any more and you're interested in buying it, I recommend it at this point. I'm sold on the StompMan. But we should try it with some pedals. I've just grabbed a bunch of pedals. I'll grab some various guitars and we'll try the StompMan with pedals and appropriate guitars. First up, the DS1. Okay, so that opened my ears and eyes a little bit to the capabilities and the limitations of the StompMan. The DS1, which a lot of people don't like, but I love and I know how it should sound, or I know how it can sound, in my opinion, didn't sound too good to the StompMan. The StompMan seemed to make it too harsh and brittle, and it's already harsh and brittle as a distortion pedal. So for DS1 use, it wasn't my favourite, and I did play around with the knobs to try and get something that was suitable for the DS1. The Walrus audio, the Iron Horse was amazing. The blues stuff was where it really came alive to me. And that is low to mid-gain stuff. Now, I've lent some of my distortion pedals to a friend at the moment, so I can't try my favourite distortions. But I think the strength of the StompMan really sits within the low gain and low drive and crunchy, gritty stuff and fuzz. So somewhere in between that distortion, I couldn't get it to sound exactly how I wanted it to sound, which is a shame, but that could be on me. I've got two more things I want to test, and that's the solo boost and using it as a power amp with a different preamp. So let's just check the solo boost first. So that solo boost is giving me up to 6 dB more. I've got it set almost at maximum, I think. So it's giving me quite a lot. It works well. It's there. It's going to help you cut through if you want to do your massive rock star solo. It's there. It works. It works well. I think it's a better product for having it there than not. And the final thing I want to test is using it as just a power amp. So turning off the preamp section using the switch on the back and using something else. In fact, I'm going to use this, the Joyo British sound as the preamp. See what that sounds like. So let's switch that switch at the back so it's now in bypass mode, and to test that the preamp is off, all you have to do is that. So if the tone knob and the gain knob does nothing, then the preamp is bypassed and we're just using the StompMan as a power amp. Let's use the Joyo British sound to give us some martially rock. So just the power amp. Okay, it works. If I did that with the preamp on, sounds a bit nasally, a bit too meh. Okay, so it works as a power amp. That's how you do it. The choice of preamp is now up to you. I wonder if I could try the DS1 one more time using the DS1 as a preamp. Okay, let's set everything in the middle and resonance to the right a little bit because we've got more distortion. Levels all the way up on the DS1. Right, if you want to use a distortion pedal, or at least a DS1, and I'm thinking more distortion pedals with the StompMan, try turning the preamp of the StompMan off using the bypass, and then I think that will accept more distorted pedals a little better. At least that's definitely my experience. I think you should try that. I think now that the StompMan can do pretty much anything you throw at it. Well done, Hughes and Kettner. Well done. It's amazing for $200. Okay, when I reviewed this, the AmpMan Classic, back in about February 2021, it's got lots of features, the sounds are good, but it's big, right? It's like almost twice the size of the StompMan. You can't read the writing on it because it's white writing on silver. It's got lots and lots of features, but it is €350. And that's a lot of money for anybody. It is a good amp and it is a good tool. But I think the StompMan is definitely where it's at. This is the product that Hughes and Kettner should have released last year. I am very, very happy with the StompMan. There are two things it doesn't have that I wish it did have, and that's the headphones out and the aux in. So the aux in so you can plug in a phone and do some backing track stuff, and the headphones just so you can get the sounds of it silently. I guess you could run the line out to a mixer, or you could use some sort of headphone amplifier, but that's again buying something else. And things like the 𝗬𝗓 stamp from Orange, that has a headphone out, and that's a little bit cheaper. But the 𝗬𝗓 stamp doesn't have as many features as the StompMan. So, you know, balancing price and balancing size as well. Hughes and Kettner have put so much into this StompMan. It's just filled. I don't think there's any room for any more stuff. Something else is that it does overdrive, it does clean, it does gritty, it does low gain amp wonderfully. It doesn't do high gain. So if you want to do high gain, you're going to need to put a distortion pedal or something through it to give you the high gain tones that you want. The good news, however, is that if you mess around with it like I did in this video, you should be able to get all the sounds you want by turning the preamp on or off and experimenting with all the features and knobs on offer. One of the big pros of this is that it's loud, super loud. And I'm going to take this to a band practice and try it with a drummer because it absolutely, absolutely killed my ears. I've now been playing it too loud and it's a little bit dangerous. So Hughes and Kettner, ow, it's loud. The other thing is that don't worry that it's 25 watts at 8 ohms. If that doesn't sound loud enough, it really, I believe it really is. In the room on my own, it's more than loud enough. At small gigs, medium gigs-ish, you get away with it with a band. Definitely. If you're doing crunch and stuff, definitely. If you want to get that clean, you're going to have to watch it out a little bit. Look, this is the Ampman, and you can't see the writing. Believe it or not, there's writing on there. Can you see it? You've got to sort of tilt it. And on a stage, that's really hard to see. On the StompMan, white on black, it has been fixed. Well done, H&K. Something I noticed whilst using it, if you have the effects loop mode turned on, so this turns the effects loop on or off, if you leave that on or off and then change to bypass mode so you can turn the preamp on or off, it remembers the FX loop if it was on or off. So that's really useful, but you have to remember how to do it and to switch between it. That's a little bit of thinking, but it does remember it. And the same for the bypass. If you bypass the preamp and then switch back to the effects loop, it remembers the status of the preamp. Little fiddly switch on the back might be hard to get on your pedal board, but it does it. Again, well done, Hughes and Kettner. To summarize the review, if you have a fly rig or you just don't want to carry an amp and there's a cab already at the venue you're playing at, or you just want something that you can put on a pedal board, for $200, this is insane. This is everything that Hughes and Kettner should have released over the past 2 years. They shouldn't have done the Spirit Nano little amps. Okay, the Ampman is good, but this is better. This I wholly recommend. And if you've got this far and you want to buy one, there are links in the video description so you can go there and check them out and see all the latest pricing, etc, etc. This is the end of the video, and you are a member of the End of the Video Club. And to prove that you are a member of this prestigious elite, when you leave your comment telling me what you think of the Hughes and Kettner StompMan, please also include the phrase sagging, and that'll let me know that you watched this part of the video. Cheers for doing that. Also helps the YouTube algorithm. That just leaves me to say thank you to Hughes and Kettner for sending this out and for sponsoring the video, making it possible. Thank you to you for watching. If you want to see the Ampman review, I'll put it just there in case you're curious, and there's another video down there. Otherwise, you can subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up as well so that other people get to see it. I will see you very soon. Bye-bye!